All right, guys, welcome back to the Fashionably Late pod. Today's guest, Navid Bahmadi, is somebody that I met recently and kind of triggered a fascination, a curiosity in how one becomes who they are in the present moment. He's a CEO and vice president of the House of Caviar and Fine Food. So he's in that lifestyle mode. It's luxury. It's things that you aspire to. And I think that the way I met you was just at a party, at a friend's party, and I turned to you and I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
The way you stand in yourself, the way you sit in a room even fascinated me. So thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Ditto there. I felt the same about you, by the way.
I was like, I need to know this guy.
I said the same
So
thing.
I brought him on here so we could all get to know each other at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think to start with, you're in a luxury business.
Yes.
You give luxury. There's an air of luxury about that. What's the work component behind serving luxury to people? I mean, caviar for some people feels so unattainable. Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting dichotomy even for that. It's something that, I want to know from your thing, how did you even end up right here with this business and bringing it to the world?
Yeah, well, it's not what you think. I actually got lucky. I was born into it.
Okay.
It's a family business. So my father, my predecessor, he started a business in early 70s in Belgium. So again, I got lucky.
But luck is only one part of an equation.
Right,
so
of course.
You gotta give this.
Sure, yes. But I can't say that I'm self-made. A lot of people ask me, "Are you self-made? Is this Well, no, this came from my father. I took over the business. Yeah, so it was a lot easier than most people think it was.
Okay. So you took that on, but how did you make it your own? Because I feel like you've branded.
I did give it my own brand. Yeah, I gave it my own brand, my own face, my own logo, my own name, Caviar King.
Yeah.
And I just gave it my own spin. And my father, obviously, he's old school. He's 70 years old, and what he had going on, his era and his mindset and his vision, completely different than mine. So when I took over, I did my own thing. I incorporated some things that was appealing to the eye for people. I incorporated girls. I like to go out to see my accounts at restaurants. And I bring, I like to party a lot. And I do all this, in front of people. I make sure there's a lot of exposure with what I do because this is my brand. I want people to see what I do.
Visibility, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Visibility.
Yeah.
I do like, if you go, we're going to insert the Instagram in here. We're going to pop the Instagram up.
God.
Because I do love. It's almost like, but he's the man in the suit on the yachts with the chicks next to him. You're telling a story though.
Yeah.
So whether you realize it or not, like I think what you brought to this business, where it maybe differs from the old school way, is that modernization of storytelling. Is that something that you've always been? Like you're a very confident, structured kind of guy. Have you been this person your whole life, or is there a moment that kind of led you to be like, well, I'm gonna be exactly who I am because that's enough?
No. I had to do a lot of self-improvement to get to where I am. I had to do a lot of, reading and experimenting and a lot of things. And my dad, he was a big component in who I am today because he really pushed me. You can call it, tough love, whatever you want to call it. But I am probably who I am today because of his help. And also, I did a lot of, I really worked on myself, and whether that was through the tools that he gave me or through reading books. I read a lot of books.
Okay.
So a lot of things that I apply in my day-to-day is through reading books.
There's this quote out there. I don't know who said it, but some of the most successful people read a ton of books.
I read a book a week. Yeah, believe it or not.
You can do better.
Give me a book. That's what my dad would say. That's what my dad would say.
Book
You
a
could
day
do
or
better.
something.
This is
He's busy.
That's exactly what he would say. You could do better, and that was his motto my whole life. Whatever I did, you could do better. It was never enough. Tough love.
I think tough love, though, I hear that you can do better, for me, I think it's like just a kick at the butt, just to be like, yeah, we can all. Complacency is I think the dead road for a lot of people, especially in Miami.
Yeah.
I think this is a fast lifestyle.
I agree.
I'm gonna transition from that fast lifestyle because there was a post that I saw. Somebody accosted your ass in the street, and there was.
Oh yeah.
They talk about it's very Miami. They talk about like, oh, how did you do this and how did you become this and what have you, and your answer was very direct. Part one of this I want to break down. That no partying. You eliminated no partying, no girls until that journey reached the point where you were like, I can do it all.
Right.
Talk about that process of like actually maybe building this business, finding yourself as a man, and being like, all in good time.
Yeah.
Because now you're surrounded by the bitches.
Well, we're living in one of the areas in the country that is probably one of the most distracting areas.
Tell them.
Yeah, one of the most distracting cities in the country. Correct me if I'm wrong. So
Beauty every corner.
So with all these distractions, you know, it was something I had to try to overcome and turn my back to, because I was focused on, you know, my business and on my image and on my goals and my vision. So, you know, there's a lot of things that was tempting, and, you know, girls and going out and, let's be transparent, drugs. Let's be transparent.
I've spoken very clearly.
You know,
I'm happy to do a bump of caviar today.
Bump of caviar. That's the only bump we're doing today.
Me
That's,
too.
that's
Because
the
I've
only
been
bump.
on my own journeys with. Correct.
So you know, there was a lot of distractions, and, you know, I told myself, you know, for a good period of time, I had to just focus on myself, my brand, and I am a good-looking guy, and it's easy for me to get consumed in that lifestyle. It really is. And I say this with no arrogance. You know, it's really easy for me to get consumed with the girls and the parties and all that. And for a long time, I had to try to stay away, and that was in my late 20s to my early 30s. Now I fucking now I have fun, you know, because I'm already established. I'm established, so I'm okay. The distractions are no distractions to me.
Yeah.
But for a long time, for years, I had to just, you know, stay away from all that and just build my brand. And I am who I am today, and now I'm good.
I find that interesting because we share that in common. Was that a conscious decision when you said to stay away because you knew the after effect of that?
Of course, yeah.
So for me,
Absolutely,
it's like when I battled the other kind of shit and the parties and the drugs and what have you, I chose the only way for me to get out. I'm a pretty resilient guy, and I'm pretty like self-assured.
Right.
So it's not like, you know, I need to go get treatment. I need to do this. I need to eliminate people from my life, no matter who they are. It doesn't matter whether it's my cousin, my da-da-da-da-da. They need to leave life because they're not on this journey with me. And I don't understand the mindset, I guess, of, and I think, you know, maybe this is an egotistical statement of what brilliance takes. And brilliance sometimes takes to eliminate certain distractions.
Absolutely.
And look at us now. I can go out now because I know my path. I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I can handle that balance. So maybe as a younger man, it is overwhelming, especially in this city. In really any city.
Especially in this city.
But this city is like temptation on every corner.
On every corner, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I think that's for the young men watching this and the women, because I got a whole plethora of people that watch this. I think it's inspiring to listen to somebody that A, looks like you, that could probably like do whatever he wants, whenever he wants it, and however he wants it, but shows that you literally took that step back internally. And I think that's that's a legacy making moment there, because I think if a lot of men look up to you and young, you know, it's Miami. You give the Miami vibe. I think what you put out there is that a lifestyle that people want. But hearing you say the other side of how you came to be this, so now you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, so to speak. I just wanted to give you that kudos because I think it's really important that people listen and heed that advice. Eliminating certain factors or people or situations from your life, I think is a huge factor in being successful.
It is. I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
So, and I think your father would be very proud of you.
Ongoing.
Come on, Dad.
It's really hard to make him proud, but yeah, let's hope he's proud today.
I'm pretty sure he would be. So let's talk about, you know, getting things right, getting things wrong. Part 2 of that little video I saw was a question that resonated with me because I said the same answer. And people think I'm a cocky little boy, and I'm like, no, I'm a cocky man. But that's a difference. Don't worry. And it really resonated. So the quote ran along the lines of like, would you change anything? And it was along the lines of, no, I did it right the first time.
Right.
That's a bold statement.
Right. What I didn't say that day.
Okay, now we're gonna give it all.
What I didn't say is that I had to make many mistakes to get to the point where
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that's to show that levity. But I think you had a vision and a plan in the. You kind of had the skeleton of a plan there, And it doesn't matter, like the fact that like people could say, yes, it's a family business. It doesn't matter. You had to bring this and put your own spin on it and bring your own flavor to it to make it yours.
Right.
And to take it from what your father created to 2025. And that's the differential there. So I think in saying that, I didn't listen to that as cocky. I listened to that as, it was like, that's another moment that people should aspire to be that bold in who they are. Is that something I want to talk about, like being this bold person? And you said something before where it's like, are you intrinsically like comfortable in the skin, or is it like you pick and choose your moments? Like you're a confident person, but in terms of understanding, like, do you ever switch it off?
The confidence?
No, not the confidence. Like just be like it's a power that you bring to a room. So it's like, do you ever switch it off? Because I struggle to switch it off.
It would be overwhelming if I'm always like this.
But it's like
of course, it depends, where you are and who you're with.
Yeah.
And of course, you have to give off a different persona of who you are with different areas and different energy, different settings.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not always like this. Behind closed doors, maybe with a good friend or maybe a girlfriend. You know, maybe I'm a little more joking, a little more.
He's not all bravado.
A little more silly.
Okay, okay.
But I probably wouldn't show that silly side to just everybody, right?
Of course not.
Yeah,
of course not. So let's bring that into the method that you sell with, and this idea that you're out at the places that stuck the caviar, and you're out. The image that you put together, what was it about that image with the lux of the girls and the yachts and like, the high flying lifestyle? What was the reason behind moving the brand into that way? And and obviously it's worked.
Well, I figure this is something that everybody aspires to be. Everybody wants to be surrounded by women. Everyone wants to be on a yacht. Everybody wants
even the gays want to be surrounded by the women.
Even the gays. Everybody wants to go dine at the finest restaurant. Correct. So I wanted to make sure that I put myself in that scene, and I gave that lifestyle a lot of exposure. And if you look at my social media, I make sure that everybody sees what I do, because this is part of my brand.
Correct.
It's really part of my brand. I'm just showing my brand and who I am and what my company's about. And in my videos, you will always see, it's never just me and girls. You will always see caviar in all my videos. You will always see, it's all about my caviar.
Correct.
I would never post a picture or video that's just about girls or yachts. You will always see, if you check out my stuff, you will always see caviar in my videos. That's what it's about, essentially. But I want to make sure there's all the things that are appealing to people. People don't just want to see a fucking, excuse my language, a tin of caviar on a table. They want to see some girls eating it. They want to see a beautiful yacht,
You're selling a lifestyle in a movie.
Yeah, of course.
And you're narrating that through, I think, the ideals that people really do want in their life.
Absolutely.
Whether they're in the Midwest, whether they're in here or there, when people think of that and they switch off, and it's like, there it is. Right. That's what you're putting out there is what they imagine in their mind. So I'm like, it's a smart branding tool. Take me through the business aspect of this. Like, what's the day-to-day of your business? Besides being a pimp daddy.
Now it's a lot easier. Now, honestly, I go in every morning. We open 8:30 for other employees. I go in 7:30. I get my stuff done. I do a lot of, receivables. So I make sure, all the customers are up to date with payments. That's what I do. And then once we open.
The money, man.
Yeah, once we open, I'm there until maybe 2, 3 o'clock. We close at 5, but, I leave 2, 3. And, I make sure everyone's doing what they need to be doing. And I stay there several hours and I'll leave. My focus is sales. It doesn't matter if I'm CEO or if I'm processing caviar. I make sure I'm on top of sales. So whether I have a team of 5 people, I want to make sure that I'm the lead salesperson in my company, because nobody can do what I do. I agree. So I've taken my company from 5 to 50 mil in 2-3 years, and this is mostly my accounts that I've gotten. It's not my reps that's gotten these accounts, it's myself. So you can have people do your work, but nobody will do your work the way you do it. If you really are passionate about your job, you can't teach somebody to do what you do yourself passionately. It's impossible.
It's another another similarity that we have, and it's also being able to let go sometimes, because
Right.
it's right. I say there,
Well, I
and I'm
can't
like,
let go.
I'll never let go, because
Yeah.
I built it this far and I'm 42 years old. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just keep doing what I'm doing because it's
Right.
working. But I appreciate that, because nobody will ever understand it like you do, and understand maybe what you have in your mind to go 10 years down the track, and continue in evolving the messaging of this and the lifestyle, because your life, I think, is the sales pitch.
Right.
So there, nobody can replicate you, and nobody can replicate.
Exactly,
We
yes.
are individuals as we do that. Where do you see this brand going? How do you want to evolve it? Because you are like, this is the thing. Through your techniques, you kind of have cornered the market. Like, your personality out there now.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that kind of benchmark into that sales pitch? Because as you rise, I guess the brand rises too.
Right, yeah.
Where do you want to take your personality? I wouldn't say persona, because you are who you are.
Yeah.
So where are we taking Naveed? Where's he going? What's on your...
I think anyone's goal in any business would be, well, especially in the caviar business, is to be more out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so my goal ultimately is to be known all over the place. We're already nationwide company.
Correct.
But I want everyone to know me and my brand. I want every single person to know us. And that may take being on TV. That may take, you know, having my own reality show. Whatever it takes, whatever I need to do, I'm gonna make sure that happens. I want every single person in the United States. It doesn't have to be the whole world. Let's start with the country.
Okay.
Let's start with the country,
Okay.
right? I want everyone in the country to know who I am.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lofty goals.
And who my company is, not just me. Yeah.
We'll insert the Real Housewives of Miami, because he's got
There.
those bitches on retainer. My girls. But you're smart in doing situations like that. That's how you do brand, and that's how you reach global, because
Yeah.
the reality space, if done correctly, and you know the dichotomy of like how those shows work, I think those snippets that you have for your business are immeasurable, because it's like aspirational. It's really hitting the right market. So I can see you doing TV. I could see you really moving into even doing some like a Lux podcast and interviewing like the top 1% kind of people. There's
That'd
a
be
lot.
nice.
I think that, you know, you have a storyteller capability, and I think leaning into that can really take you to a whole new level. And like I said, right now the brand is the brand, but you are the story. You're the driver of that brand. So it's like the more you drive, the bigger this brand's gonna grow.
Right.
So how do we do a bump? Let's.
How do you do any other bumps?
I don't know. I don't know. Is there legal in this place?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Let's not keep it messy.
Is this your first bump?
Of Caviar? I've done one in the hand.
Of caviar, yeah.
Yes. I was about to say, let's not go there.
Is it your first caviar bump?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Come on, man. This thing's so trendy. Everybody's
Well, I
doing
went to
it.
Claudie.
Your mother's probably doing it.
Well, poor mom.
Little do you know.
The thing she's doing. No, my mother's a simple gal.
A simple
Simple
gal.
gal. But I didn't do a bump, but I went to Claudie where they had the caviar there.
Okay, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a cool experience.
Yeah. That's my caviar, by the way.
Well, then whoever I was with bought the big bucks.
Okay.
So we made
Yeah.
some money.
All right.
I'm happy to help.
All right. Bring me your hand.
Okay.
Your best hand.
Yep.
You want a big one or a small one?
Let's do a small.
Small one. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
There you go.
And I just lick this, right?
You lick it, you eat it, you do. You
All right,
can
wait,
snort
we
it if
say
you
that?
want.
No, it's like that. Here we go.
And this is, I brought you.
Okay,
know,
let
we have a lot of different caviar. This is top of the line. This is the best one we have.
hold on, what is it? Can we say this? There we go.
Diamond al Cetro.
Take me through what the tones are. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's the best. So again, we have a lot of different caviars. Anywhere from, as you can see, the color here is light, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of caviar is also dark. What
When I think of it, it's like the
Right.
black bit.
Right.
Yeah,
It used to
okay.
be the caviar that used to be back in the day from the Caspian Sea used to be all black.
Okay.
Now it's a different era, different age. Everything is farmed. The best caviar now is golden, and it's very rare because out of 100 sturgeons, only 5% can produce this color.
Wow.
And it's super creamy, super buttery, as you can taste yourself.
really good.
Yeah, it's very exceptional, and it's very limited because
Are you involved
again
in the
5%.
process of like?
No.
Have you traveled to the places?
Yes, we travel. Yeah, we're partners with the farms.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think that's really important.
Yeah, we're partners with the farms. But I thought you were asking me if I'm involved with the how to manipulate the color.
No.
Oh, okay.
Just,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that this is what you're selling, but I wanted to hear like you've been to the places where this.
Yes.
Where you,
yeah, we are partners with the farms. So I go to the farms and I select myself which sturgeon I want them to.
Listen, I figured
remove the caviar from, and then I tell them I want to go ahead. I want you guys to export this, and then this is where we import it back in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, I knew the answer to the question because I was like, you're kind of like across all things.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way he's like.
I have to be hands on. If you want to import, I mean, there's a lot of people out there trying to sell caviar. It's crazy. Every other month you see a new person. And it's to me it's disgusting because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they think just because somebody else is selling caviar that they can do it. It's not easy. Maybe now it's more accessible to people, which it is.
Big difference.
You can right now try to import caviar. It's easy because now it's not from the Caspian Sea like it used to be. And Caspian Sea, only selected people had access to it. Now everybody has access to it.
Wow.
But just because they think they can import it, they think they can sell it. It's not easy selling caviar. It's a very niche industry.
It is.
And let's say you're a restaurant owner. Who are you going to buy from? Somebody that's been established for 30, 40 years? Or are you going to buy from the new guy that just opened last week? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So you got these new guys that want to sell caviar, but they're going against these big players. You know, my father's been around for 50, 60 years.
It's like the mafia.
It kind of is. It really is. It really, seniority is going to win. You know, that's
Always.
just how it is. Yeah, and there's three top players in this country: ourselves, Petrosian, and Marquis, and you know, that's it.
That's so good. No, that's such an interesting thing. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
You should, exactly.
That's an interesting.
I like that. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah,
it's true, and I feel like you've worked. Your father's legacy is your father's legacy. Where you can take this, because you are so involved in this process. The sky's the limit,
right?
Quite frankly. So I just want to kind of round this out and be like, what's a moment where you feel like this maybe life that you arrived? An arrived moment meaning maybe you were like, yeah, I can pat myself on the back. Like, have you had that aha moment, or you think this whole journey's been that? Because I feel like
I don't think I've reached that moment yet.
Okay.
No, because if you feel like you reached that moment, then there's nothing else to work towards.
You can have another one.
Maybe, yeah. So I've had those moments. Okay. I've had those moments, but I want more of those moments. There you go. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
I've had those moments, and I want more of those moments, and I want bigger moments. You know, so yeah, there's always going to be that moment where you're happy where you are, and you're proud of what you've done, and yeah, I want many more of those moments. There's still a lot of different things that I have to overcome and to achieve. Still, yeah.
I'm gonna trademark that. Cheers to the moments.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with you, brother.
Yeah.
You got a good head on your shoulders.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Thank you.
I really want everybody to follow the man, because I think more people should look up to people like you. Truthfully, a lot of people might, you know. I see a lot of myself in you. We all have things that
I thank you, but there's a lot of other people to look up to.
No,
but I thank you. That's a nice thing to say.
It's true. It's true. If I was a kid, I'd be like, I want to be exactly like him.
Okay.
Let's go, bitches. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
We're gonna put all the social medias up here, and we'll see you next time. We're gonna do a few more bumps. Let's go.
God. Caviar bumps.
All righty.
Good stuff, bro. Yeah, of course.